Good morning, my scrappy friends. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. My name is Natalie Koenig and I am a maker with close to my heart. Here on my YouTube channel, we create lots and lots of pages and cards and things using close to my heart products, and sometimes to sneak in a little bit of something else, but not very often. Today we're working on Christie's 30 Days of Sketches. If you've been following along with me, you'll know that we're getting into day 23. So we're getting there, guys. We're going to get through these sketches. If you've not seen the channel before, this was a sketch challenge, a month of sketches that was in October. I did complete them all in October. I just never actually got all the videos edited, and it is taking me a little while to catch up. The sketch that we're working with today is up in that top corner by Sherry. Sherry, this sketch is absolutely beautiful if you happen to see this video. I love this sketch. I went looking for photos, and not the day before, but 2 days before, that I used this paper range, and it was still out on my bench, but I knew I had more than 3 photos. So I turned this sketch into a 2-pager, and I'm now trying to figure out where everything's going to go to make that work. So what you see at the moment is me going through the scraps of this collection. Now this is the In Full Bloom collection. I do not believe there's anything left of this collection. I will go and check before I upload this video, but it was a very, very popular collection. If you happen to have it in your stash, congratulations, because I know it's well sought after. I do have one full scrapbook kit left. I'm holding on to that, and I think that is going to be my 1,000 subscriber giveaway when I get there. I know I've got a long way to go, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So stick around and find out. Well, I've said it now, so that's probably what we're going to do. I really want to use up some of these scraps though that I've got. I do have a couple of full pages of different papers left, but I want to get through some of these scraps and use them up, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm pulling things in from a little bag that I've got on the side there, and I am trying to find bits and pieces that I think are going to work on this page. These photos are of my brother's wedding, where my 2 kids were flower boy, page boy, not flower boy, flower girl and page boy, and they're just adorable. You want to see how I've arranged them is that all of the photos on the left side are sort of looking towards the right, and all those photos that are on the right side are looking to the left. Now there's a photo there on the right hand page, that large one on the right hand page, that actually cuts my daughter right off. But I still like the photo of my son there, and you'll see later on as we go through, it does get a little bit trimmed down, so it's not as noticeable that she is cut off that side, but I still like the cheeky grin he's got going on in there. These 2 kids were adorable on this day. My daughter, I reckon that's probably the last time my daughter ever wore a dress. Very soon after that day, she decided that she was not ever going to wear a dress again, and so far that's pretty much true. So I'll cherish the days where she was a tiny little girl and she was still wearing dresses. As we go along here, still popping different bits and pieces in. This will start to come together shortly, and you'll start to see that I deviate a little bit more from the sketch. So in that sketch, they sort of had those clusters of papers on the outside of the photos, sort of framing the edges, I guess you could say, of those photos. So I kind of take this and use that more as a base for my page. And as we go along as well, you'll also notice that you can do a lot with little scraps. So as I build this page, I actually don't use anywhere near as much as papers as probably what is on there now, except for a couple of big mats. But you can use very little paper to get a great effect. So if you've got little scraps at home and you're wondering what to do with them, then this may be a really good idea for you. I've got this grey patterned paper with these butterflies and bits in the background. I absolutely adore this paper. It's stunning, and you can use it on just about anything. And I'm working away here to mat my photos onto that. And as you'll see, I'm trimming the tops and bottoms of those photos so that I've got an even amount or height on both sides, because I'm kind of working towards getting these matted up on one piece. So I'm just trimming a little bits here and there, and I'm kind of holding them there, just checking that they're all roughly going to make a square or a rectangle that's even. Once I've done that, I realized that I need to go back in and give them a little bit of a mat. So I'm going to mat them up on black cardstock and trim them out. And once I've done that, I'm also going to mat this grey one onto a large piece of black as well. So there is quite a few layers there. I was talking about saving paper, but you could just do this once without doing all of those layers if you want to save a bit of paper. But I quite like how this whole mat came together. You'll notice then that I've covered up a lot of that paper. So instead of wasting that paper, I'm going to trim the paper and just slide it in from the edges. So rather than have that paper running all the way behind and you not being able to see it, I'm just popping that just in under the edges, and that will then save a fair bit of paper as well. And you can easily do this with any of your photos. Rather than having a whole strip of paper behind them, you can cut them and trim them out. These zip strips I'm cutting into 4, so rather than using 2 whole zip strips, I'm actually going to need one to do all 4, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And again, that's saving me just a little bit of paper there. I do create another layout in this series with this paper. I think it might be in about 2 days time. So if you want more ideas, definitely like and subscribe, and we will let you know. If you hit that notification button, it will let you know when those videos are released. So I'm liking where this is going now. So nothing's stuck down at this stage, but to me the papers are kind of going into the background a little bit. So I'm going to fix that in a moment. I'm just there, you've seen I started to gut at some black paper. That's for a little bit of a border so that it can sit behind that white paper there and give my whole layout a border. Here I'm trimming down those side photos. So now I've made that big mat in the middle. My side photos were looking a little bit cramped, but I had plenty of room, and that was what I was saying earlier, that I trimmed down the photos and they didn't look anywhere near as overwhelming or dead space next to the kids on those 2 photos. Okay, where am I going next? I'm pretty much happy with this, guys. So in a moment we're going to cut out a whole section, because I didn't think you guys would need to sit through it all, and that's where I'm going to go in and first of all, I'm sorry guys, forgot I did this bit first. I'm going to mount these photos, but what I was sort of indicating with my fingers there before is that I'm going to create some embellishment clusters that sort of go up the top, down the bottom, and then over on that right hand page. So I'm going to need to have 3 embellishments, and again the inspiration has come from that sketch. On the sketch they had 3 huge big flowers that sort of accompanied the photos. So I'm going to bring in a stamp set. Now this is the In Full Bloom scrapbooking stamp set. Again, this one is not available anymore, guys. It had sold out, but I'm sure you've got flower collections at home in your little stash that you can use. So I'm going to come in with some black ink here, guys, and I'm going to stamp a whole heap of these ones. So a whole heap of the leaves, the big blooms, and I don't even think I show all the ones that I stamped, guys, because I figured you didn't want to see me stamping forever and ever. Once I have got those all stamped, I have matching dies that go with these, and I went off camera and die cut all of the flowers out, and I'm going to start building those flower clusters. One of my favorite things about scrapbooking and putting together these kind of pages is building those layers of embellishments and clusters on a page that really bring it all together. And I really love that feeling of getting something right, or sometimes I get it wrong as well. Actually, probably quite often I get it wrong as well, but I love that process of layering these things up and building these bits and pieces on a page. It sometimes takes me a long time to do it. I wouldn't say I'm the fastest scrapbooker in the world. You guys you don't get to see all the times I just sit there looking blank and not doing anything, feeling stuck. I cut those out, guys. You don't see them, but they are there. Guaranteed they are there. And we all do that, I think, or I'm speaking for all of us, but we have times that we just can't get it to work. I'd love to know what you guys do when you think that something's going to work. Do you just give up, or put it aside and come back to it, or do you push through? I tend to end up taking things apart and just kind of starting again. But leave a comment below, let me know. I'm going to start trialing here a few stickers and bring in and see what I like. And so I'm just sort of laying them there, trying to get a feel for them. You'll see me take some of them back off again until I find something that I feel is going to work. And the one that I think is going to work the best for me is that black and white one, because it's kind of going in with all the black and white flowers I have on the page. Now I'm going to do something which I would love to delete from the video and pretend it didn't happen, because I end up covering it up. But I go in with some pewter ink and I'm thinking, I've got these black and white flowers. Maybe behind the black and white flowers, I might just put a little lighter printed flower. And you see, I did it really quick there, guys. I covered it up really quickly. I stamped it and then I didn't like it because it wasn't a very good stamp. And then I go, oh no, I'll go in with an even lighter grey and try again. Bad. I stuff it up again. So they ultimately get covered up with the printed black and white flowers. But I would love to pretend it didn't happen, guys. Now, after I did that, we did a big jump there, you can see, and I gave you no hint that that was going to happen. But what I had done there, guys, was I blended all the edges of all of those individual pieces of paper. That helped each of those individual pieces of paper to stand out a little bit and not blend into the background. I'm now coming in and doing a little bit of splatter stamping here. If you don't like splatters, this is the perfect stamp for you. This is the background element stamp set, and it is new in the core catalogue this year. And I absolutely adore this. I use it so much. I didn't think I would love something as much as Perfectly Imperfect, but this one is really good, guys. I did have the code up there on the screen if you want to scroll back and grab the code. So I've used that and kind of just splattered those around those embellishments to soften up the edges between where those flowers are and the white base page. I'm now colouring in the leaves, and I feel like I'm really behind here, guys. I'm so sorry, but I'm just adding a little bit of colour to those green leaves, those leaves to make them green. And that is going to help those clusters without colouring every single flower, just pop that little bit more. And I am surprisingly happy with this scenario. Now, after I've got those on there, I do feel like there's some spots that need just a little bit more of that splatter. So I'm going in and ruining all my clusters one more time. And then finally, guys, these are all going to be stuck down. So when I have adhered these to the page, I've used a combination of tape in the middle of the flowers, and I've pulled up the like the corners that aren't tucked under anything else with a little bit of foam tape, and also on the edges of those leaves, as you can see there. Now this did take an extra long time to do, so I will cut a fair bit of this out, but it helps just give those little clusters another little bit of dimension, and I absolutely love the results. I am only going to show a little bit of this because it does take a little while to pop all this together and do all those tiny little bits of foam tape under the bits and pieces of embellishments. So rather than make you guys sit through loads and loads of that, we will fast forward to when this is all put together. Now I'm having a little look. This is a sticker from that sticker sheet, Live in Full Bloom, so I'm having a bit of a little look. And then on one of the other In Full Bloom, I think it's the card making stamp set, there was these cute little butterflies. So I'm bringing those in and stamping them as little embellishments around those clusters. And there's a small one and a larger one. So I'm going to also bring that larger one in and do a little bit there. When I've done that, I do feel that I've lost a little bit of that splatter from a couple of those little spots, and I do just go in and add just a tiny little bit, and you can see there I haven't even got that stamp on a block. I just want to get a couple of tiny details in around those corners. Where I'm indicating there now with my finger is that I don't like the fact that I've got just a white edge around my page, so I'm just going to go in and hand draw a few little details around the edge, and that to me finishes it off. If you've been watching my channel at all, you know I do this all the time, a little bit of hand drawing around my edges. And guys, that is it. We have got through this layout. Thank you so much, guys, for spending this time with me. If you've watched all the way through, thanks for listening to me gab on in a strange and crazy way like I normally do. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Have a great day. Bye.